Hi, and welcome to the African Cinema Podcast. This is your host, Tendai, and today we examine Tanzanian cinema, a cinematic tradition that demonstrates how audiovisual culture reflects national political transformations, technological evolution, and cultural negotiations. This analytical exploration encompasses 5 distinct historical periods, each characterized by specific political ideologies, economic structures, and creative visionaries who established a distinct national cinematic identity. Tanzanian cinema operates under the colloquial designations Swahiliwood or Bongowood. This film industry exemplifies African cinematic development patterns that diverge significantly from the established traditions of Senegal or Nigeria. Tanzania's cinematic trajectory reflects a nation that experimented with African socialism, navigated structural adjustment programs, and ultimately developed a hybrid cinematic economy that balances commercial viability with cultural authenticity. The narrative commences in early 20th century when German colonial administrators introduced moving pictures to Tanganyika. These initial encounters with cinematic technology established patterns of foreign hegemony that persisted for decades, fundamentally shaping audience formation and exhibition practices. During the 1930s, British colonial authorities systematized film exhibition as an instrument for education and ideological dissemination, which is quite similar to what we've seen in countries such as South Africa or even Nigeria itself. Mobile cinema units went through raw landscapes, projecting European newsreels and instructional films designed to reinforce colonial narratives and administrative authority. These exhibitions reached remote communities in Dar es Salaam, Morogoro, and Tanga, cultivating audiences' familiarity with cinematic language while precluding opportunities for indigenous production or autonomous storytelling. A significant institutional development occurred during the 1950s under Governor Sir Edward Twining, who initiated an ambitious project facilitating African participation in Kiswahili film production through collaboration with African Film Production of South Africa. This initiative generated over 10 productions, including notable titles such as Chalo Amerudi, Wageni Wema, Ali Mjanja, Dawa ya Mapenzi, Meli Inakwenda, and Mogo Mchungu. The burgeoning independence movements ultimately disrupted this colonial cinematic project. This initiative terminated as political tensions escalated, leaving behind a fragmented foundation for future Tanzanian cinema development. This abandonment reflected broader colonial anxieties about indigenous cultural expression and political mobilization. The colonial period established crucial infrastructure whereby permanent cinemas replaced temporary tent exhibitions, distribution networks concentrated in urban centers, and audiences developed sophisticated viewing practices. However, this foundation remained entirely under foreign control, with Indian entrepreneurs dominating exhibition networks and European companies controlling distribution mechanisms. Independence in 1961 transformed Tanzanian cinema's political and cultural landscape. President Julius Nyerere's adoption of Ujamaa, or African socialism, through the 1967 Arusha Declaration, positioned cinema as a crucial instrument for nation building and ideological consolidation. The Tanzanian Film Company, established in 1968 under the Ministry of Community Development, monopolized production, distribution, and exhibition functions. This centralized approach reflected broader socialist principles emphasizing collective ownership and state control over cultural production mechanisms. Institutional developments included the formation of specialized government film units, establishment of the Audiovisual Institute, implementation of the Film Act of 1976, requiring comprehensive script approval for all productions, and creation of the Tanzania Film Censorship Board, which evolved over time into various regulatory entities responsible for content oversight. Yugoslav filmmakers arrived in 1963 to provide technical training, replacing South African expatriates who were expelled due to apartheid policies. This collaboration established essential technical capacity, while maintaining ideological alignment with non-aligned socialist principles, and Third World solidarity movements. Fimbo ya Mnyonge, directed by Mohammed H. Ali in 1973, epitomized Ujamaa's didactic approach. The narrative chronicled a rural family's embrace of collective farming practices, explicitly promoting government agriculture policies while demonstrating cinema's capacity for social mobilization. Living Together, which was produced in 1975 under Haji Mwinyi direction, dramatized the benefits of Ujamaa villages for communal well-being and collective prosperity. The film functioned simultaneously as entertainment and instructional material for rural audiences, exemplifying the state's utilitarian approach to cultural production. Yomba Yomba emerged in 1985 as a sequel to Fimbo ya Mnyonge, addressing critical revisions of Ujamaa policies during a period of economic reconsideration. The character Yomba Yomba became an iconic figure in early Tanzanian cinema, representing the peasant who discovers transformative possibilities within collective agricultural systems. Additional notable productions included Wimbo wa Mnyanzi, made in 1983, a Tanzanian-Dutch co-production focusing on irrigation technology, Arusi ya Mariamu in 1984, directed by Ron Mulvihill and Nangayoma Ngoge, and Mama Tumaini in 1986, directed by Martin Mando and Sigve Edresen. Beatrice Mkanga emerged as TFC's first female cinematographer, documenting rural health campaigns and establishing precedents for women's technical participation in film production. Ngalimecha Ngayoma and Martin Mando received international training opportunities, while Ami Rajab developed domestic expertise as a scriptwriter and director. Actress Tekla Mjata gained prominence through performances in the 1980s productions, contributing to the development of Tanzanian screen culture. The Habari za Tanzania newsreel series captured President Nyerere's journeys and speeches, disseminating government messaging through cinema fans that connected remote villages with national political discourse and ideological frameworks. Production methodologies involved expensive equipment, including heavy 35mm and 16mm cameras, manual editing procedures requiring scissors-based techniques, and film development in foreign laboratories. Distribution remains circumscribed, targeting specific audiences in secondary schools and universities rather than commercial exhibition venues. During the 1980s, thematic diversification began emerging. Films addressed tensions between tradition and modernity, governmental corruption, and relationships between Tanzanians and foreign technical advisors, suggesting growing creative sophistication despite persistent political constraints on artistic expression. The 1980s witnessed dramatic transformation as Tanzania adopted structural adjustment programs mandated by the World Bank and International Monetary Fund. These economic reforms dismantled state-controlled cultural institutions and fundamentally altered cinema's production and distribution landscape, shifting emphasis toward market-oriented mechanisms. The TFC confronted severe budgetary constraints and ultimately ceased operations in the 1990s. Media deregulation permitted private studio establishment, though institutional support remained minimal. This transition created opportunities for independent creative expression while eliminating traditional funding mechanisms and state patronage systems. Video technology democratized filmmaking. Camcorders and VHS recording systems, subsequently DVD technologies, enabled filmmakers to circumvent expensive celluloid processes and traditional production hierarchies. Digital editing became accessible, dramatically reducing production costs and technical barriers while expanding creative possibilities for emerging filmmakers. Filmmaking pivoted toward urban narratives reflecting Dar es Salaam's expanding middle-class concerns and contemporary social dynamics. Thematic content encompassed youth culture, romantic relationships, criminal activities, and social challenges, representing a significant departure from the rural-focused, ideological-driven Ujamaa cinema tradition. Siri ya Tatu, produced in 1992 under Abdul Hafiz's direction, achieved cult status in video club circuits. This suspenseful thriller demonstrated audience appetite for entertainment-focused rather than didactic content, signaling a fundamental shift in viewer expectations and market demands. Manhattan Productions, established in 1995, pioneered direct-to-video drama series distribution, circumventing content on VHS formats across Tanzania and neighboring countries. This company established distribution models that would significantly influence subsequent industry development and regional market penetration strategies. Emerging directors Hamisi Mdi and Humphrey Dombo revitalized documentary approaches with low-budget urban storytelling frameworks, bridging earlier state cinema traditions with emerging commercial imperatives and audience preferences. The liberalization period coincided with increased exposure to Hollywood, Bollywood, and emerging Nollywood productions. These influences shaped aesthetic preferences and narrative conventions, creating hybrid cinematic forms that synthesize local content with international production methodologies and stylistic approaches. The early 2000s marked the emergence of Tanzania's commercial film industry. Designated colloquially as Swahiliwood, Bongo movie, or Bongowood, this period represents the most prolific era of Tanzanian film production, characterized by rapid output volumes, constrained budgets, and direct-to-DVD distribution strategies that bypass traditional exhibition infrastructure. Digital revolution impacts fundamentally transformed production accessibility. Affordable digital cameras and non-linear editing software eliminated traditional production barriers, enabling filmmakers to complete projects within weeks rather than months and facilitating unprecedented production volumes that served previously underserved market segments. Bongo films exhibited distinctive characteristics, including minimal production budgets, typically under $5,000, accelerated production schedules, direct-to-DVD distribution, Swahili language dialogue targeting domestic and East African markets, formulaic genres encompassing romance, melodrama, and comedy, and integration of popular music with contemporary urban thematic content. Bongo films specifically addressed underserved Kiswahili-speaking audiences, filling market voids left by foreign productions that lacked cultural resonance or linguistic accessibility. Swahili language utilization enabled broad domestic audience reach while facilitating language dissemination throughout neighboring countries including Rwanda, Burundi, Kenya, Malawi, Uganda, Mozambique, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Girlfriend, produced in 2002 under George Tyson's direction, reportedly achieved breakthrough status within the industry. According to industry sources, the production cost approximately 3 million Tanzanian shillings while generating over 50 million shillings in revenue, inspiring numerous entrepreneurs to enter the expanding market. Binti emerged in 2001 under Seko Shamte's direction, representing early female filmmaking achievements while exploring urban female identity themes that resonated with evolving social dynamics and gender relations in contemporary Tanzanian society. Leah, produced in 2005 under Esther Mdeme's direction, addressed child marriage practices and women empowerment issues, demonstrating Bongo cinema's capacity for social commentary alongside commercial entertainment objectives. Additional significant productions reportedly included Bongoland in 2003, examining diaspora experiences, Duara in 2002, Nsuka in 2003, Dilemma in 2004, Johari in 2006, which allegedly achieved record DVD sales, Inspector Seba in 2008, Chanzo ni Mama 1 and 2 in 2008, directed by Susan Lewis, Muhabuba in 2008, directed by John Kalaje, and The Cold Wind in 2008, again directed by M.G. Game. 14 Days appeared in 2010, written and produced by Jacob Stephen and directed by Adam Kuambiana, gaining recognition for sophisticated narrative development, acting quality, and cultural references while addressing gender-based violence issues within contemporary Tanzanian context. Dar to Lagos in 2008 and A Trip to America in 2009 demonstrated collaborative filmmaking with Nigerian producers, illustrating emerging transnational cooperation within regional cinema networks and Pan-African creative partnerships. The Bongo era established Tanzania's first indigenous film star system, with performers achieving celebrity status and substantial popular followings. Male stars reportedly included Stephen Kanumba, who became the most prominent actor-director, whose death in 2012 became a national event demonstrating Bongo cinema's cultural impact. Vincent Kigosi, who gained recognition as both performer and director, Ernest Napoleon, Jimmy Mponda, Sebastian Mwanagulo, and Charles Magari, who achieved substantial popular recognition. Female stars included Blandila Chagula, Elizabeth Michael, Kajala Masanja, Jacqueline Wolper, Nelly Kamwelu, Irene Uwoya, Baby Madaha, Wema Sepetu, and Lucy Komba, who became household names within Tanzanian popular culture. God River Godian's performance in Family Drama, which was made in 2010, reportedly cemented her commercial appeal and box office viability. Directors and producers included Singu Mtambalike, who directed Kwa Heshima ya Penzi, Musa Banzi, and Sultan Tamba, who established reputations as prominent directors, and various production companies including Steps Entertainment and Pili Pili Entertainment that dominated distribution networks and market penetration strategies. DVD distribution centered on Kariako market in Dar es Salaam, where DJs translated and dubbed foreign films into Kiswahili while distributing Bongo productions through informal networks. This distribution system proved remarkably efficient, reaching diaspora markets in the United States and England while maintaining low overhead costs and direct audience connections. Despite commercial success, Bongo films encountered persistent criticism, including limited technical quality due to accelerated production schedules, starism phenomena where popular actors assumed multiple roles as directors and producers, theatrical influence resulting in exaggerated acting styles derived from stage and radio drama traditions, inadequate sound and lighting techniques, DJing practices involving excessive musical augmentation to extend runtime and create serialized content, and code switching between Kiswahili and English language that sometimes compromised narrative coherence. The Bongo industry generated employment opportunities for hundreds of individuals while stimulating substantial informal economic activity. However, piracy remained a persistent challenge, undermining revenue streams and encouraging multi-part production strategies designed to combat unauthorized reproduction and distribution. The contemporary period represents Tanzanian cinema's institutional maturation, characterized by enhanced production values, international collaborative partnerships, and festival recognition, while maintaining continuity with established Bongo traditions and commercial imperatives. The Zanzibar International Film Festival, ZIFF, established in 1997, emerged as Africa's premier cinematic platform, providing crucial venues for Tanzanian filmmakers alongside international colleagues. ZIFF hosts screenings, workshops, exhibitions, and the prestigious Golden Dao Award, facilitating networking opportunities and co-production development while establishing regional cinema networks. Maangamizi, the Ancient One, was directed by Martin Mando and Ron Mulvihill and premiered between 1999 and 2001. This film achieved historical significance as Tanzania's first Academy Award submission for Best International Film in 2001, though it was not nominated. The narrative addressed colonial trauma, slavery legacies, and connections with Afro-American diaspora communities, establishing precedents for international festival circulation and transnational thematic engagement. Vuta N'Kuvute emerged in 2022 under Emil Shivjil's direction, winning ZIFF's Golden Dao Award while gaining international recognition. This production became Tanzania's second Academy Award submission for Best International Feature Film in 2022, though, like its predecessor, it was not nominated. The film represents contemporary Tanzanian cinema's capacity for sophisticated historical narratives addressing colonial legacies with elevated production values and international artistic standards. Binti was produced in 2021 under Seko Shamte's direction and achieved Golden Dao recognition at ZIFF, demonstrating continued female filmmaker contributions to industry development and artistic evolution. Ioni appeared in 2023 under Eddie Mzale's direction and received Golden Dao recognition, indicating sustained contemporary production quality and artistic sophistication within the current generation of Tanzanian filmmakers. Additional notable productions like Ninoma, made in June 2016, Homecoming again in 2016, Midnight, made in 2018, and Bahasha, made in 2018, all directed by Seko Shamte, representing efforts to produce elevated quality films targeting both domestic and diaspora audiences while maintaining cultural authenticity. Remsin's Kipaji, which was made in 2018, explores urban youth disillusionment themes reflective of contemporary social anxieties. Nshuti Irenge's Maji Safi, made in 2022, addresses water scarcity and climate resilience issues, demonstrating contemporary cinema's engagement with environmental challenges and sustainable development concerns. The Ajabu Collective, formed in 2016, produces experimental films that synthesize documentary and fictional approaches to investigate memory, identity, and post-colonial legacies. This collective leads restoration efforts for early TFC productions while establishing comprehensive Tanzanian film archives and preservation initiatives. The contemporary landscape operates across multiple production levels. Commercial Bongo films continue low-budget production traditions targeting domestic markets and regional audiences. Art house cinema involves elevated budget productions pursuing international festival circuits and co-production opportunities. Documentary cinema demonstrates increased focus on social and political issues with international distribution potential and academic interest. Video-on-demand platforms, including Swahiliflix and YouTube, provide alternative distribution channels. Though traditional DVD sales persist in domestic markets, streaming platforms offer possibilities for expanded audience reach while creating innovative revenue models that circumvent traditional distribution constraints. Regulatory oversight continues through the Tanzanian Film Board, while National Art Council, BASATA, launched the Film Federation of Tanzania in 2010 to coordinate industry advocacy and professional development, though implementation remains in developmental phases. Martin Mando represents a pivotal figure spanning multiple periods of Tanzanian cinema development. As scholar, filmmaker, and festival organizer, Mando directed Maangamizi, The Ancient One, while maintaining editorial roles for the Journal of African Cinemas. His influence on training initiatives and festival infrastructure development has been substantial, including leadership positions at Setai FF and academic contributions to African cinema scholarship. Amandina Lihamba functioned as a theatre scholar and practitioner at the University of Dar es Salaam, significantly influencing performance traditions that intersect with film development and cultural education programs. Her work established crucial connections between theatrical traditions and emerging cinematic practices. Amil Shivji founded Kijiweni Productions and represents contemporary Tanzanian cinema development. His short films and features including T-Junction and Vuta N'Kuvute have achieved regional awards while screening at major international festivals, exemplifying new generation filmmakers creating internationally visible works that interrogate historical narratives, identity formation, and neo-colonial dynamics. Seko Shamte has maintained consistent production throughout multiple periods as well, directing works including Homecoming in 2016 and Midnight in 2018, demonstrating sustained creative development and industry leadership across evolving technological and market conditions. Tanzanian cinema's evolutionary trajectory represents a remarkable demonstration of resilience, creativity, and cultural assertion within challenging economic and political contexts. Each historical period contributed distinctive elements to contemporary film culture, including colonial infrastructure development, post-independence cultural nationalism, liberalizational era commercialization, Bongo film entrepreneurship, and contemporary artistic ambition that collectively shaped current industry characteristics. The industry's capacity to overcome economic constraints through innovative production and distribution methodologies demonstrates the transformative potential of cultural entrepreneurship and creative adaptation. While challenges persist, particularly regarding financing mechanisms and distribution infrastructure development, recent international recognition through productions like Vuta N'Kuvute and initiatives such as Setai FF indicate promising development trajectories and expanding global visibility. Tanzanian cinema enters its subsequent development phase positioned to contribute meaningfully to both regional and global cinematic cultures, while maintaining its distinctive voice and cultural authenticity. This evolution reflects broader patterns of African cultural development, suggesting that creative industries can achieve sustainability despite economic limitations when supported by entrepreneurial innovation, cultural commitment, and strategic institutional development. Now, this concludes our exploration of Tanzanian cinema, and join us next time as we continue examining African film cultures, investigating the narratives, challenges, and achievements that define continental cinematic traditions. Ciao.